Hey, this is Dayspring with Power of X-Men.
This is Sailor Tortilla.
This is Miracle from Magical Melody.
This is Brooke with the Sailor Moon Fan Network, and you're tuned into Double Moonlight Justice
With Z and Grayson.
Hello, is it me you looking for? Hey Z.
Hi, Jimmy.
Aw, poor little Chicky Boom. You sound good. You sound okay.
I do.
Yeah, you sound fine. Oh, you had me so worried. I was like, oh, my poor Z. She's feeling sick, and she's probably gonna sound like she's a 20-year smoker or something. Like, hello, like.
Shoot, that was me yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I honestly have a tendency to sound a lot softer, and then I get really low. But that's good. But I sound good. I sound better.
Okay. Oh goodness. Oh, and I lost you. Are you okay? Hello? Caller, are you there, caller? If we're disconnected, please hang up and dial again.
Moonlight Justice.
Hey Sailor Guardians, it is July 12th and you are tuned in to Double Moonlight Justice. Moonlight Justice is a fan podcast dedicated to the hit anime manga franchise Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. We are your hosts. I am Grayson.
And I am Z.
Here on Moonlight Justice, we adhere to the power of three. The power of three are principles we abide by as your Sailor hosts. 1. Package controversy with civility. We will respectfully discuss our thoughts and opinions without a feeling of judgment. 2. Things can always be discussed constructively and positively. 3. We will not engage in racism, xenophobia, phobias, or triggers. However, these topics might be addressed in correlation with some of our discussions. We'll be sure to provide a disclaimer so you are aware. Our next few episodes of Moonlight Justice will be dedicated to the North American Sailor Moon The Super Live Tour. We're excited about this series because Sailor Moon The Super Live is the first instance of a full Sailor Moon musical stage show in America. Sailor Moon The Super Live allows us to connect with you, our Sailor Guardians, and discuss this amazing experience. We have some great guests lined up for you to talk about Sailor Moon The Super Live. If you want to speak with Z or myself and submit pre-recorded Q&A, please email us at moonlightjusticepodcast@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram. We are very excited to welcome Sailor Victoria. Thank you for joining us. Yay!
I'm so excited. I've been such a fan since y'all started, so I'm really happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, the feeling is mutual.
100%.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited. So, you guys may know Sailor Victoria as the host of the Black-owned Moonies Club, Sailor Moon podcast, the Magical Girls Festival, and the Sailor Moon Day Party.
Yes.
So, Victoria, can you tell us more about the Moonies Club podcast?
Yeah, so the Moonies Club podcast is a Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast. It's a podcast where I interview Sailor Moon fans about themselves. So it's the idea that kind of like everyone is doing amazing things. There's like comic book creators, wrestlers, rappers, cosplayers, and we all like do really cool things, or book authors, and we all happen to be Sailor Moon fans. And so it's really just about like interviewing people about themselves. Of course, we talk a little bit about Sailor Moon, like who's their favorite scout or senshi, and like favorite moments and when they got into the show. But it's really also about like their work and like what they do and just how the Moonie fandom is like the coolest one out there.
Oh, that's really cool.
So cool. Oh, I love that.
And I love how it just connects with the Sailor Guardian audience, like as a whole. Like we're all Sailor Moon fans in any shape or form.
Yeah, exactly. Like we come in all shapes, colors, and everything.
So I've always seen the adverts for the Sailor Moon Day Party, and it sounds like so much fun. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so about 3 years after I started the podcast, I wanted to do in-person events, but I launched the podcast in March 2020. So had to like make that plan very quickly.
Right.
But I always wanted to do in-person events. So finally, 3 years in, I was like, I think I want to try this idea. And I really just wanted something that kind of celebrated all parts of Sailor Moon, that just brought people together in person. And so like there's like a nail station, and it's kind of modeled after like Afropunk or like Curl Fest and like those kind of things where like outdoors, like different activations and stuff, but on a smaller scale.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's what I'm hoping to like bigger and bigger. But yeah, so there's a nail station where you can get your nails done. I have a tarot card reader. So thinking like nails, when when the Senshi transform, their nails get done, and then obviously the
I like that.
Reading, I think she more does like fire readings and stuff like that, but she's very much like into like astrology in that way, or like readings. And so we have a tarot card reader. We just added a tattoo station, which isn't necessarily any particular Senshi, but I call it Haruka's tattoo station because I feel like of all the Senshi, she would get a tattoo.
That tracks.
And so, but I just, there's Sailor Moon themed tattoos, and of course music, DJs, people come in cosplay. It's a really fun event. I really so happy that people enjoy it and people come out every year. This is doing it for 3 years now, and so really, really happy, excited.
That's amazing. Very proud of you for doing something like that. That's really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And last but not least, can you tell us what the Magical Girls Festival is?
Yeah, so the Magical Girls Festival is a mini convention that I started by accident last year.
Whoa, wait, accident? How'd you start it by accident? I need to know.
So, one of my friends reached out for the day party. She owns a massage business, and she wanted to vend at the day party. And I was just like, I don't feel like it's the right fit for the day party. Like, there's people dancing and drinking. Like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't mind a massage in the middle of a day party, but like, I don't know if that's the right fit. Then I was like, kind of ruminating on it. And then around the same time, I went to this space for an event and met the owner there. And they were like, oh yeah, we're looking for more like anime themed events here. And I was like, okay, that's gonna be cool. And then so I kind of thought about doing a Magical Girls spa day pop-up there, which I still want to do at some point. Yeah, because I was like, oh, that could be cool. Like a pampering day. It was around the time the Creme Shop just released like their face mask with the Sailor Moon designs. And so I was like, okay, I might maybe get some of those. Like maybe, ask them if they want to be a sponsor. And then, my friend can come with massages. And then I have another friend who makes like body butters and stuff. She's a Sailor Moon fan. She's usually a sponsor for the day party as well. And she creates like Sailor Moon themed like body butters and stuff. There's another person who does like Sailor Moon themed perfumes. So I'm like, there's a lot there that I'm like, this could work. And then it turned out that friend who does massages was not available. I know, but it was fine. But as I was planning the event, I was calling it like Spa Day Pop-Up, but then I think it just like expanded past what I thought, because I was looking for vendors. And I was like, maybe I can open it up to like artists. And then I was like, and I also do like music performances, like I did. We usually do music performances at the day party. I didn't do it this year just because like life was lifing and I had to like cut back. But no, it's fine. And yeah, and I was just like, and then so I ended up finding a different space too, because that space wasn't available. And then found Japan Village. They were able to work with me. And then like halfway through planning, I was like, oh, this is turning into like a mini con. Like there's like 20 vendors. There's like programming. Because they Japan Village, where I have it, they have an origami studio. So I was like, oh, I'd love to like partner with you if you can like teach people how to do something like Sailor Moon themed, like origami. So we did like Sailor Senshi dresses. And then like there was a sewing business there. And they were teaching people how to make skirts. Senshi skirts, where they were offering it. And then I think that's it. And there's like a book off there as well. And there's a Daiso. And then Bandai Namco just opened up over there too. So it's like a whole area that's like dedicated to like Japanese culture and anime and stuff. So it's really cute. But yeah, that's how I started a little mini con. And then we have a maid cafe there too as well, which is super cute, by the Machimaho Maid Cafe. They transform like this whole area. It's like a super cute maid cafe, and they do wand crafting with like pipe. Was it
PVC?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, pipe cleaners. There we go. And so
Okay.
yeah, so it's really cute. So that's how it started. So I was first going to do a spa day thing, and then it just kind of blew up. And then I was like, you know what? Actually, this is a mini con. And then I changed the name to festival as well, because I wanted something that was a little more general.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I do outreach for my job, and coordinating events, logistics, and all that, getting venue space is not easy. So how do you find the time to do these things?
Great question. Everyone asks me this, and I still don't know the answer because
and it ain't cheap.
it's not cheap at all. It takes a lot of time. I'm partially a workaholic, where I think whenever I'm passionate about something, I'll spend hours just like researching something. Like I'll be on my phone, just like, because much time I spend on TikTok, I'm also spending time on Google. Like, let me look up events in New York City. Let me look through Reddit, see if anyone has like any like venue ideas or venue suggestions. And so that's me like all day, every day. And then other than that, it's really like Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Asana. Just to try and keep myself together.
She's in Sailor Mercury mode.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I go into Sailor Mercury mode. I'm like locked in. I got the glasses, like the visor. So that's literally what happens. I just go to Sailor Mercury mode, and then I just try and get it all done. And I try to give myself enough time to plan. I think, I'm also a person who like, I've never been diagnosed with ADHD. But I'm also like,
we all got it.
Right? Yeah.
We all got it.
But like when I have coffee, I can like lock in. And so
same.
Give me a good like 3 to 6 hours. We got the whole event planned. Like it's just so.
Maybe that's why I was starting all over my intro, because I am hype off this coffee right now.
That'll do it. Usagi mode.
So these sound like all great experiences. Where can people find more information about the day party, the festival, and the podcast? What platforms can people find you on?
Yeah, so podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Moonies Club. Instagram is Moonies_club. But if you type in Moonies Club, they'll pop up anyways. And then I'm at Sailor Victoria on TikTok and Miss Old School on Twitter and Instagram. That's Old School with a K. And then I just started, we're going to launch it soon, but I'm sure by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be out. But we have a new site for the Magical Girls Festival, magicalgirlsfestival.com. So you can find all the information on that over there. And then for the events, just in general, you can find it on our social media. And then if you subscribe to our newsletter at SailorMoonFanClub.com, we send all of our events there as well.
Nice. And we'll be sure to link all of those in the podcast description.
Yay, thank you.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our talking points for today. And in true Moonlight Justice fashion, we never start off without asking, how are you feeling? So Sailor Victoria, tell us, how are you feeling in general? How's life? I know you and Z are like a little bit under the weather, so
I'm actually feeling better. I don't know. I stepped into this room to record, and maybe I don't know what's happening, but like my allergies are going away a little bit. I also just took to start drinking some cranberry juice. Maybe that's helping. I don't know. All these things. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Like maybe I can breathe again. So I'll be grateful for that for sure. Day party went well. That was about a week and a half ago as we're recording. And so I'm always
Was it hot?
It was hot, but the past 2 years that I had the day party, it rains. And so I was like, I'll take the heat.
All right.
It wasn't like unbearable. Like it was just a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't like I gotta be inside.
Gotcha.
In the venue I work with, they're really great. And they had water stations like all throughout the space. So that was really good. So people could just like get water whenever they wanted.
Nice.
Having to go to the bar. And so that worked well. So it was like, I think the high 80s, low 90s, maybe.
I saw some people sporting their Sailor Moon swimsuits, so.
Yep.
Yes.
I think Kimmy's Crash cosplay from the Moonies podcast had a Sailor Moon swimsuit. So, and then someone else had a Sailor Mars swimsuit. I forgot their handle, but it was I think it's Ray Fire cosplay. I forgot their handle, but yes, definitely some swimsuits. That's what I should have had on. I was regretting my pants. I was like, why did I do this? No, I should have been shorts.
Right. And Z, how are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling okay.
You
For
doing
the
your best?
most part. Yeah, I'm doing my best. I think that sums up pretty well. I'm doing my best.
And that's okay too.
Right. Sometimes that's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. How about you, G?
I think for me, life has been lifing, and I don't think it's just anything that's happened to me personally. Like, work is fine for the most part. My friends and my family are fine. I think it's just maybe just the stress of what's happening in the world and stuff like that. I think it's just like stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff. Like, the news is going off like every 5 seconds, so it's just like trying to be informed, but also trying to balance your mental health along with it, making sure that you're okay. So, if I was ever going to put a message out to our audience, it's just like, take your time and do what's best for you first before you engage in anything else that might bring in some stress or heartache or headaches, for that matter, because it will affect your health in ways you will not expect. You'll get the headaches, you'll not feel good. So it's just like, make sure you're taking care of yourself first before you're diving into today's or tomorrow's problems. Like, the problems will be there. You will resolve them in due time. But by all means, take care of yourself first. One podcast I listened to said that this is a time of radical self-care. So treat yourself. If you want the coffee, get the coffee. If you want your Sailor Moon toy, get you a Sailor Moon toy.
I love that.
So it's like, give yourself permission to, and they'll be like, well, I shouldn't. Get it. Don't worry about it. Now, I'm not saying don't pay your rent, don't pay your bills. Take care of what you got to take care of. But if you got a little extra to get yourself a little something nice, by all means, give yourself permission to do so. So, with all that said, what have you been up to lately? Sailor Victoria, so you just told us that you finished up the Sailor Moon day party, and it was hot, but it was a nice, successful event. What else have you been doing?
Yeah, so radical self-care, just like you said, I've had a really wild past 3 months. Just like family stuff and personal stuff and job stuff. But the weekend after the day party was the first weekend I actually had nothing to do. So I'm like, I'm gonna relax, stay in. So I finished South of Midnight, which is so fun. I was so excited. That game was so good. Yeah, and so I literally got a Fire Stick and a Game Pass and an Xbox controller just to play it. And so
okay, that's dedication.
Yeah, because I have an Xbox, I have a PS5, but I was like, I want to play this game, so I need to, but I don't want to get an Xbox, so I didn't want to.
I don't either. I have a PS5 too.
Oh yeah, see, you're with me. So once my friend told me that I could do a Fire Stick and get Game Pass and play it, I was like, let's do this. It's much cheaper and much more affordable. But I did that. What else have I been doing? I've been getting back to writing, which has been fun. I'm working on some creative projects, so it's been fun to pour back into. And back to planning mode for the Magical Girls Festival as of last week. So that's where I'm at.
And do you handle all the planning by yourself?
I do. Yep.
Wow. Okay. Entrepreneur, doing it all. Boss lady, doing it.
I'm really grateful to have friends who help me day of. But yeah, all the pre-planning and stuff. I will reach out to friends which flyer do you like better? Which, look at this website, give me feedback. But otherwise, yeah, all the planning is me and Google and email.
Okay. And Z, I always keep up with my Z. That's my girl, my rock. She has been busy, but I'm going to let you, Z, tell us what you've been up to.
Good gracious. It's been a very eventful summer and a very eventful week. This week in particular, I have been working on my Star Princess dress, which is a outfit that Christine Phantom of the Opera. I also got to participate in a Pokemon OC trainer collab, and all of that went up as of yesterday, if I recall correctly. I also got to go to Savannah last week. It was fun. So I've just been here, there, and everywhere, and this was the week that I was supposed to kind of chill after all of that. Nah, I kept working. Kept doing stuff. Little bits and pieces here and there.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what I've been doing.
That's good.
And I will continue Star Princess, and we'll see where things move in. So I'll probably get more work done at some point.
That's good.
That sounds so cool. And don't forget to rest too.
I know, right? Radical self-care. Radical self-care.
No worries. I am practicing self-care. I have been taking some much-needed rest here, knowing when I need to stop. I'm going to do a little bit more, but I have a practice.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So for me, I have played Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Ooh.
And it is amazing. It is an amazing game. Definitely, it's been an amazing. I definitely want to play South of Midnight. Xbox has kind of thrown me off, so I was like, I don't know. But seeing as how Victoria kind of made a little workaround there, I may have to take some notes off of her and do the same thing.
Do it.
My brother has an Xbox, but I don't like the Xbox controllers. They're kind of bulky to me.
They are bulky. But I got a cute one, and that helps.
Okay. I just played Persona 3. And it was really, it was my first time playing it. My friend recommended it. So I house sitted for my friend and their partner while they were in Japan. And I was watching their little dog Padme. And my friend recommended Persona 3, so I played that while they were gone. They brought me back a Super Sailor Jupiter SH Figure Arts action figure, which is very hard to find, and it's very expensive. It's very expensive in the US. So they were asking me, they're like, let us know what Sailor Moon stuff you want from Japan. So I sent them, I was like, if you can find the art books, give me the art books. If you can find the original wave of SH Figure Arts. So for those that aren't aware, the initial wave of Sailor Moon Figure Arts came out over 10 years ago. And the original line had, the Sailor Senshi, the Outer Senshi, Tuxedo Mask, Black Lady, Zoisite Sailor Moon, and it also included a series of the Inner Super Senshi. Well, recently, maybe in past 5 years or so, they relaunched the series as Animation Color Edition, but they're not doing the additional figures in Animation Color. So I only collect the original wave, which includes this super line. So last year when they were in Japan, they got me Super Sailor Venus, and this year they got me Super Sailor Jupiter. So I have 2 more and Tuxedo Kamisama to collect, and I'll finally have the full series. I was so excited to get Super Sailor Venus. I broke my original Sailor Venus and had to buy another one.
No.
So it's just,
oh no.
And they are so cool looking. I love how I'm not like JPH Collection or Rec Collects where they collect the Sailor Moon dolls. I'm very much like a action figure type guy. I think the dolls are kind of creepy.
Some of the dolls are creepy. Those eyes are always looking at you.
I think they're cute. So I like some of the dolls.
Yeah, but I like action figures. It just feels like like they're closer. I guess it's close to that, like the anime. Like dolls look okay, but they don't look like the anime, in my opinion. I've been drawing more. I've been writing more recently. I've been kind of in a mental fog, like I was saying earlier. But I'm finally getting back into drawing and writing and stuff like that. So I'm writing an original story called Le Chess Romantique, which is kind of like my homage to Sailor Moon, Magical Girls in general. But it's like with my own take. So like I've showed some people some art and they're like, oh, it reminds me of Sailor Moon, or it reminds me of Utena. And I'm like, oh, good. Okay, good. I'm on the right path. You're getting the vibe.
Yes, that's so cool.
Yeah, so those are a few things that I've been up to. And so since we have Sailor Victoria with us, we're going to run her through our obstacle course of getting to know our guests. So Victoria, you may not be 100% aware, but we always ask our guests these questions just so we can get to know them a little bit better, and it gives us insight as into who you are with a person without like having to do like too much of a deep dive. So this first question was inspired by Z. I always make it a point to mention it because I never thought to ask this question, because I assume, being an elder millennial, I assume that people all got the Sailor Moon in the US the same way I got in Sailor Moon. You start with the Deke dub and you work your way on up. But Z was like, nah. Let's do it differently. So how did you get the Sailor Moon, Victoria?
Yeah, I do have the quote unquote traditional way, which is definitely the Deke dub through Toonami. My brother, I have 3 brothers, older brothers, and they're all super into anime. And he was just like, and they're older than me by like 10 or plus years. So he was like, there's this anime coming out. I think you'll like it. And I remember it being like the same day and me like turning it on. He says it was the night before. I don't know. But I was just like, okay, I'll check it out, and like, turn on Toonami, and just, I think it was the first episode, and I just was hooked ever since. Like I remember just like every day, like that became my schedule, like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, skip Gundam, come back for Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah.
That was just every day where I was like, this is my after school routine.
Exactly.
But you're so right, Z, because I asked the same question on my podcast. And I thought the same thing. I was like, man, is this going to get repetitive? But so many people are like, oh, no, I watched it like 6 a.m. on Fox. Or some people are like, no, I actually watched it on Hulu for the first time. Or so, yeah, there's so many different ways people have said they've come to the show. So that was surprising me.
Yeah. So, Z, I know you answered this before, but tell us how you got into Sailor Moon.
Wow. So I actually got into Sailor Moon through the live action series, and I actually discovered it on YouTube. Yeah. On YouTube, through a recommendation from a friend's sibling. They were like, oh, you probably like Sailor Moon. That might be something up your alley. So I looked it up on YouTube, and I actually discovered the henshins from the live action series, and I thought this was the coolest thing in the world. So naturally, all the episodes are on there. It's like 2 episodes in one video. The quality was like 240p, really, really grainy. But I loved every little bit of it, and it's how I entered the Sailor Moon universe. And then from there, I actually went to Crystal, because it was airing at the same time as me getting into Sailor Moon, and the musicals, because most of if not all of the Bandai musicals are on YouTube. It was a mingling of those two specifically. It actually was, oh, this is Sailor Moon. I like
it blows my mind every time. It never gets old with me, because out of all the versions of Sailor Moon you could have gotten into, you got into the most niche, deep cut versions of Sailor Moon, because PGSM is not so easy to access
at all, especially back then.
And it's just so funny because, like Victoria's saying, like our journeys are we started off with the Deke Sailor Moon. It was very hard, like online with like the advent of the internet, like AOL dial-up was like starting to like take on. So it's like even with GeoCities and Angel Fire websites, the information was very limited, and a lot of it was misinformation. I actually saw a video on TikTok about the guy talking about the Prince Uranus fan theory, where they like went on it was like the Sailor Moon forums, and they said, oh, Naoko said that Sailor Uranus was a prince in the past life and stuff like that, and that's why she's in love with Sailor Neptune in the season. And everybody believed it because nobody had no one could refute it, because no one had the means to look it up and verify the facts. So it was just like a wild time back then. Like the website that I found was called the Sailor Moon Astronomical Observatory or whatever, and I was under the impression that there was a Sailor Earth and a Sailor Sun, and Sailor Earth was Molly's sister, and it was just like none of that was true. But it was very convincing. But it's like, you know, watching it on Toonami after school, Dragon Ball, skipping Gundam, all that, and then getting, you know, like as I like went on to become a teenager, that's how I got into the Japanese version of Sailor Moon. And I had to like burn CDs off of eBay, because that was the only way to watch the series as a whole, because there wasn't any streaming or YouTube for that matter. And I just we didn't have the bandwidth to download things off of Napster and Kazaa and LimeWire like that.
Throwbacks.
Yeah, and it was like and if you did want any like Sailor Moon merchandise, you were very lucky to be in New York or Los Angeles, where you can go to, you know, Tokyo Town or Chinatown or what have you, Little Tokyo, to find these things, or you had to like order these things through the mail and hope that you're not getting scammed and getting your money taken, you know, getting these things. So I bought the Sailor Moon Memorial music box and song box from the 90s anime, so that's how I got into the music. And I caught glimpses of the musicals, but never was able to watch a full Sailor Moon musical until the late mid 2000s, like 2010 and onward. But it's very interesting, like, you know, like if you talk to like a typical millennial like me, our journeys are very similar, but it's like, you know, people that are younger than us, like they start with, so I honestly, I think you're the only person I know that started with PGSM.
I'm screaming. Yeah. I can't help it. I just got to be out the box. I can't help it.
Yeah, because even when because when PGSM came out, you know, like I always shout out Eternal Ruth, because that was the only way we could watch it. And like I said, it wasn't like going on YouTube. We had to download those 5-minute zip files, unsubbed, ripped from Japanese airings, and then having to go look up the synopsis website to figure out what's going on. So it's just like, I was saying, like it's such a deep cut and it's very niche, because people always ask me, where can I watch PGSM? And I'm like, you can't. And you go download it, go to Sea of Serenity. Miss Dream is still down. What is going on?
They actually posted on Reddit that they're updating the site. They're trying to make a repository of like Magical Girl manga. I think that was for the 80s.
I'm like, if they need money, let me know.
Right? I will donate anything.
I will donate now. So yeah. So I was just like, I have been checking like faithfully, like when they come back online, because they have been a resource forever, and it's very like, it's almost disheartening for me, because Miss Dream, along with like Sailor Moon Center, Sea of Serenity, there have been a plethora of Sailor Moon websites that have been like our archives for Sailor Moon content. Yeah. And it's very sad to see them like go away. Like Manga Style, SailorMusic.net have been around forever. And they're very hard they're very hard to get a hold of. So I'm like, if you guys need support, if you guys need money, please let me know, because I will definitely donate and support to keep these things alive, because I don't think there will be a US Sailor Moon community without those websites like WikiMoon. For sure. I was very sad. I was looking for high resolution Laserdisc covers from the Sailor Moon 90s anime. I love those covers. So I got into like one of my ADHD fixations. So I'm like, I'm going to search the entire internet and find these and stuff like that. And there was this one website that had them all, and it went down. And, like, the page is still active, but the links are broken and stuff like that. And it's just like so sad that they're not there anymore, because, and I'm like, man, I wish I did collect them at one point, but the hard drive that I had them on got destroyed. So I'm like, dang, like, I wish I had gone back and re-downloaded those and like given them to like Miss Dream or whoever, so that way we have those archived, because I was like, I don't even know how to get in contact with that person to get that, get that stuff like into a collective so other people can still have access to them. So that was something that recently has been coming up in Sailor Moon community. It's like one of my favorite artists, Drakia Rennick, he remade like a very rare like Sailor Moon screenshot, and it's very low resolution, and he redrew it in his style. And he was saying like, I try to keep it close to the original because we want to be able to have an archive of, high resolution, high quality Sailor Moon things, because we don't, because these things are starting to disappear. It's really sad.
Yeah, I completely agree. If like Miss Dream ever goes down, I will fall to my knees and cry.
Me too. And that's why I was like, do you need money? Let me know. Like, it's just so sad seeing that little gear icon talking about we're back. And I'm like, are you coming back? Please come back.
Yeah, I was relieved when I saw that Reddit. Ellie from Miss Dream, one of the co-founders, she posted, and I was like, okay, yay.
Okay, that's good. Okay, that gives. That makes me feel so much better. Okay, so we all talked about how we got into Sailor Moon, and Sailor Victoria, I'm pretty sure you get this question all the time. But who is your favorite Sailor Senshi?
I do, but I never get tired of answering it. So I love Sailor Moon, Usagi Tsukino. She is me and I am her for the most part. I think I'm a little more focused sometimes. Obviously, I don't know if she can plan an event, but I just love how funny she is and caring. And I also would not want to fight monsters, so I get that. I'm like, give me a nap in a video game any day. So I don't know. I just always found her so relatable, and it got to a point. I was talking to one of my friends about this. And we're both kind of like, I don't know how much she informed my personality, or if I was just like that and found her relatable, which is why I liked her, or if she just made my personality. It's like a chicken and the egg situation. But I just love her. I don't know. And I just love how much she cares about her friends, and how she will literally sacrifice anything to keep them safe.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. Z, who's your favorite? I know it changes from time to time, but who's your favorite Sailor Senshi?
It does. At the moment, it is Sailor Jupiter, and I'm gonna specify the live-action version of Sailor Jupiter. She's been on my mind.
Wait, I need to hear more. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh. Because I just finished. I say just because it's what. But I just finished a full for her. So I don't know. It's just really cool. It's just kind of the.
Yeah, I definitely see I told you this before, Z, but it's like when I see you working on your cosplay, I think of PGSM Mako-chan, where she's cooking and it has that little music in the background.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And for me, my favorite Sailor Senshi, I call this the Miss Universe answer, because I too like Sailor Moon. She's my favorite. But I feel like, it's almost like a cop out, like, oh, I love Sailor. This is the main character. Of course I love Sailor Moon. But I think even in the Geek dub or in the Japanese, which is like my favorite version of Sailor Moon, I love Kotona Mitsuishi. I just feel like she, like Victoria was saying, like she kind of like molded my values and ideals when it comes to being a good person, being a good friend. I think if Sailor Moon was like a real person living in this day and age, she'd probably be diagnosed with ADHD herself.
Absolutely. 1000%.
So I could definitely relate to that. But I just feel like when the chips are down, when push comes to shove, she's willing to rise to the challenge, and she's willing to do and stand up for what's right. And I think that kind of informed my personality moving forward, where it's like, I need to do my very best. I need to be a good friend. I need to be protective of others, and always show like love and care whenever possible, because you don't always get the opportunity to do that. So I think I think just in typical like US, like I think it's kind of like the message and the motto and the theme when you're watching like Disney movies and stuff like that. I think that tends to be the theme and the motif growing up, where it's like you do the right thing, you tell the truth, you love deeply and you care deeply. And I think that kind of like resonated with a lot of people that got into Sailor Moon and transitioned from like traditional cartoons and Disney movies into anime, because it was almost like growing up in a sense, where it's like you grew up with Disney and cartoons, but then as you get older, you get into anime, which kind of like takes, depending on what you're watching, that's for sure. It's like, some people just go straight into Demon Slayer, and hey, it doesn't always translate.
That blows my mind now that like Demon Slayer could be someone's first anime, or Chainsaw Man, or I'm like, what? Like that doesn't make sense. But or Attack on Titan. Yeah.
They're very fortunate to be able to choose what they get to watch, because we were kind of like dictated by what was on Toonami, and we were at the mercy of the FCC and censorship. So we had to deal with a lot of localization and edits and stuff like that still kind of like informed that same ideology that we grew up with and stuff like that. So I guess for me, it's like kind of like, it's almost like the Bible, where it's like you have to know what to take from an anime and what to leave an anime. Like, don't go and attach a chainsaw to your head, but by all means, protect and love your friends.
Yeah. Completely agree.
So we talked about our favorite Sailor Senshi, but one thing I realized, and this definitely rings true for me, is that our favorites are never the ones that kind of like resonate with our personalities per se. So we talk about our favorites, and we talk about like, I think it's like the ideal that we strive for, but there's always that character that is closer to who we are as people.
Mm-hmm.
So Sailor Victoria, that being said, do you think Sailor Moon is most like your personality, or is it another Sailor Senshi that is most like your personality?
I think I'm a mix. So I think definitely Sailor Moon, and like I'm silly, I love video games, I love all these things. But obviously you mentioned it earlier, like I think I'm also a lot like Sailor Mercury, because I can be very analytical, I can be very like focused. I got good grades in school, and so I think I can be very Sailor Mercury in that way, with like, even the event planning and all these things, and like project management, like that feels a lot more like Sailor Mercury. I'm trying to think though between the two, because I'm also a person who's not really afraid of confrontation. And I'm like, I don't know, like I love having like honest talks with people where I'm like, hey, like, did something I say bother you, whatever, or the other way around, like, let's talk about it. And so I'm like trying to think who's like that.
Probably
like,
Neptune.
Oh, that's a good one. And she's another one of my favorites. She's the one I aspire to be, because I think she just has her life together. And I aspire to be Neptune. I think I'm Mercury and Moon, but I think Neptune is like, I'm like, ooh, when I get older, when I'm an adult, which
when I grow up.
When I'm a grown up, I want to be Sailor Neptune.
And Z, I know you said Sailor Jupiter. Do you feel like she is close to your personality as well? Do you think it's like another character or a mix of characters?
Oh, it's definitely a mix. Oh, it's wholeheartedly a mix. Sailor Jupiter for sure, as well as Sailor Mercury or Ami. Her very quiet nature is very analytical, very meticulous, and I would say that I'm pretty described to be that way, very quiet, to myself, but oftentimes I'm very observant, thinking and pondering. And Usagi, I get really excited for my friends. I try to cheer for my friends, you know, I'm rooting for your wins, and I try to be as supportive as I can be. I will get very passionate about. I will get very emotional, very excited and passionate about. So I think I'm a good amalgamation of those three in particular.
Okay. And for me, my answer is still the same. As it has always been, as much as I love Sailor Moon and would like to be like Sailor Moon, I am definitely Sailor Pluto.
Oh yes,
100%.
I feel like, you know, like Sailor Pluto is. I like that she has a close relationship with Sailor Mercury in the manga. That's kind of insinuated that, you know, that she was kind of like a mentor to Mercury. So I definitely see that analyticalness to her, methodical thinking. Given that, you know, she was like a nurse, and that at one point she was working in an observatory. So I think that there's some depth to her career field that we're not 100% aware of. So I definitely see that analytical, methodical, attention to detail nature. I'm very much an introvert. So I definitely relate and resonate with the solitary guardian guarding the door of space and time, who's okay with her duty. I am okay being by myself. I am okay doing this on my own. But there's also that need to be a part of something greater than herself. She wants to work and be with Sailor Moon and the other Sailor Senshi. So I think that kind of like, as much as I am an introvert, I love connecting with other people as long as I have the social faculty. And I think it's just like, you know, that loving and caring from a distance is still love and care. It's not considered less than to love and care for people from a distance. I think that Pluto also mentions that that's another form of love in the manga, where she's like, you know, watching and caring from a distance is another form of love, and it's not less than. So I think that Sailor Pluto resonates with me. She's the oldest. Obasa. I want just to circle back what I've been up to lately. What I have been doing, Z, is listening to our old podcast.
Really?
So yes, I have been going back in time and listening to. Hold on, just a moment. Yeah, I've been going back and listening to the old podcast, going back in time, if you will, and listening to some podcasts and stuff like that. So that I was definitely looking for that Obasa moment, because that was funny.
That was funny.
So we talked about our favorite Senshi and what Senshi we are most like, but besides a Sailor Senshi, do you have a favorite Sailor Moon character or supporting character, Sailor Victoria?
Ooh. I mean, I'm also a big Sailor Pluto fan, as an introvert. So, like, everything you said, absolutely.
See, now I find that hard to believe, doing day parties and festivals, and you're an introvert too?
Listen, I'm behind the scenes. Like,
okay.
I'm definitely behind the scenes. This is also why I like a day party, because I'm home in bed by 10.
I can vibe with that for sure.
But side characters. Oh man, I love Haruna, the teacher. I think she's really cute. I think she's fun.
That's definitely a first for us.
Oh yay! Okay, yeah, I think she's really cool. Like I don't know. I
was half expecting you to say Naru or Molly, but Haruna is definitely the first time I've ever someone mentioned the teacher being one of their favorite side characters.
Yeah, I think I almost went with Molly or Naru, but I'm like, I do like Molly. I love Naru, like especially in the Deke version with her like Brooklyn accent. I think funniest thing ever. I also heartbroken with that Nephrite scenes, even though he's creepy, but I still, I'm the chocolate parfait, so. But yeah, I don't know. I just every time I see her, like she's just so funny to me, especially like when she thinks like she gets the love letter, the radio, and all that. I'm like, this is funny. I think who else? I mean, I feel like we're gonna get to villains later, so I don't want to say villain. So I'm trying to think of like who's the villain. But like, because I like a lot of the villains.
Okay.
So
that's definitely our next talking point. So we'll get to that. But I definitely love the Haruna Sensei question, the answer. That's a first. So I definitely enjoyed it.
Yay!
Z, what about you? I already know.
Oh my goodness. Okay, outside of Mamoru Chiba, I really love Multiki. I love Multiki.
From PGSM?
Yes, I'm gonna. Yep. Yes, I can add that specification from PGSM.
Oh my god.
He's a guy that at the end of the day, if he loves Kamakichi-kun, he loves turtles. I love turtles very much. They're my favorite animal. So from day one seeing him, I'm like, oh, he's the one.
Y'all are making me want to.
And he's just funny, and he's good.
Yeah, he's definitely a character for sure. Gosh. Like, it's very hard to choose like side characters. Even if they're side characters, they still have some personalities to them. I think Naru / Molly tends to. I think she's also like a Sailor Moon Miss Universe answer because she's in so many episodes as a side character.
Yes,
right.
She definitely got a lot more exposure than most side characters. But I definitely love her. But I think I'm going to kind of like take a little different route here and venture into PGSM land with Z. I love Ikuko Mama from PGSM.
Ooh,
she is hilarious.
She's so funny.
That's a good one too.
She's always making some type of omelet.
Yep.
And she's just so funny. Like, it was definitely an interesting take on the character. From what we've seen and been exposed to of Ikuko Mama, because she doesn't really get a lot of prominence in the anime or the manga. So for her to be fleshed out in that way in PGSM, I thought was very amusing to me. And I know I had been like on hiatus writing my fanfic for Sailor Moon, but Ikuko Mama was definitely inspiration for my version in my fanfic because she's a chef in my fanfic and I love her to death. So I think if I had to choose a favorite Sailor Moon character at this moment in time, it's Ikuko Mama.
I love that. Y'all are really making me want to rewatch PSM. It's been so long, and I'm like, I need to do it.
You should.
Sooner than later. I've been wanting to do a podcast too, and so I think
we should do that. We should do like a watch party of PGSM.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it's so good.
Yeah. My friend Wayneston, he went with me to the Sailor Moon Super Live in Chicago, and he's been trying to get into Sailor Moon, but it's a lot to try to like find that niche to get into. And oddly enough, I think PGSM is going to be his first like watch of Sailor Moon, because he was like, he's been seeing the clips on Instagram, so he was like, I really like this live action version. You know, where can I get it? I was like, don't worry, I got a copy. I'll give it to you.
I love that. And I love that it's been making the rounds and like memes and stuff. Like, yes, more people need to watch it. Because I remember when I saw it, I was like, is this gonna be good? But it was so good.
It was, I tell people, like, just get to that mid-season and you'll be Gucci.
Yes, you will be Gucci.
Yes. So we have favorite Sailor Senshi, we have Senshi that we are most like, we have our favorite side characters, but just like we have, a side of light, we also have a dark side. So Sailor Victoria, who's your favorite Sailor Moon villain?
So many. So I love Queen Nehelenia. Just
yes.
Of a good backstory. Like she's just like flawless and like beautiful, and I love a tragic backstory. So like all of that in a redemption story.
Yes.
I also like I think it's the Ayakashi sisters. Like
yes.
I always get their names mixed up between the Deke and the Japanese versions, being a Prisma, Taxi.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of them, because again, redemption story, also super cute, super fly. I also thought like the Black Moon Clan in general, which is like really cool, and I feel like their name sounds like a rap group, and I just think they're and then probably above them all though is Ciela Galaxia, just because she is ruthless, and I love a ruthless villain. I remember watching it and being like, oh, she's killing people? Like she's killing characters? Like what do you mean? Like,
genocide? Really?
I don't know. Like he's up there with like Thanos and Eren. Like it just is wild.
Wow. That's a really good one.
So I just love that. Like I love villains are villains.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if you're gonna go in, like go all in. Like make me afraid of you. Like make me feel like there are actually stakes. Especially because it's the final season.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, like this could actually be permanent now. Because there's not another season after this.
Right.
Oh, so I remember like watching it, and I watched it later, of course, because we never got it in the States, and I found the DVDs when I was like 16, and so I'm like, oh my god, like what is going on? And I felt like I was able to understand it a little bit more, just because than I would have if I was younger, because it's a little more like not adult necessarily, but more mature.
Yeah, I think that one thing that kind of like, I think it's just from my personal experience when it comes to like. Sailor Moon grew up with us, and I think that that's kind of like one of the misconceptions that I got from Sailor Moon, like because I didn't understand the timeline itself. But it's like for me, it was like I felt like as I was getting older, like 16 going on, I felt like Sailor Moon was getting older with me as the series went on itself. So one of the assumptions I made, being a misinformed Sailor Moon fan back in the 90s, was that Sailor Moon was like 17, 18 by the end of the series, and she wasn't.
Right, yeah, I thought they were all
right.
Like I thought Uranus and Neptune were like adults.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we live and learn.
Right.
But yeah, those are my favorites though. And then Queen Beryl obviously is just like iconic. I think that's a Miss Universe answer, but
yeah,
as you say, but she's cool too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, definitely iconic.
Z, favorite Sailor Moon villain?
You laid such good groundwork, Victoria. I enjoyed listening to your answers so much.
Thank you.
Like, because you Galaxia for me, because she's definitely one of my fave top tier villains, for sure. And I also love the generals, the 4 Heavenly Kings, the Knights, what have you.
Yeah.
Those two are my favorites.
Okay. For me, definitely Queen Nehelenia is at the top of my list.
Yes.
Specifically, the 90s Japanese version of Nehelenia. I love the voice actress. Her voice is very distinct and just fits Nehelenia so well. Definitely love her, like the story, tragic, her redemption, and just the range of emotion that she goes through, from like hate and rage to regret and sorrow. Like it's just like such a phenomenal time for a very short-lived character. She didn't really appear until like the end of Supers and into Stars, so it's not like she had a lot of camera time, but she made a lot of impact in the time she was on the screen. I love Kunsight from PGSM. I think he's just really cool. I love Queen Beryl from PGSM as well. I feel like and I think the reason why I love PGSM Queen Beryl is because she reminds me of Nehelenia. Beautiful, regal, again, going just the range of her emotion and her character, where it's just like, I'm this hateful character that's out for revenge, but it's rooted in trauma. It's rooted in lost love, unrequited love, and and the need to be greater than myself to appeal to someone that's not looking for those things in me. I think that Aya Sugimoto, who played Queen Beryl, just brought a human depth to Beryl that I've never seen before. So I definitely love that portrayal of her. Sailor Galexia, of course. Again, it's just like this ruthless character, like unapologetic, ambitious. It was very bold of her to do what she did. It kind of reminds me of Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Ooh, that's a good comparison.
So, and I think it's just like one of those, and it's like, for me, it's like, I know I kind of get flack for this. Cersei is one of my favorite characters from Game of Thrones. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because she is who she is unapologetically. Like, who she is from the beginning. There's no misgivings as to who she is or what she's about. And I think that was as messed up as it was, she was very authentic to herself. But it wasn't without cause or purpose. There's a reason why she did what she did, and I think people sometimes miss out on that as well. Like, even Galexia had her own reasons for doing what she did in the 90s anime, in the manga, so it's just like, I think it's very the human motivations behind what people consider to be evil. Like, Thanos did not think he was a bad guy for doing what he did.
Right.
And I think that speaks true to a lot of especially in Sailor Moon, like, the villains had their own reasons as to why they did what they did. The Black Moon Clan did not think they were doing anything wrong. They were trying to, they felt that the Silver Crystal was going against nature itself. No one should have to live for thousands of years. That's not natural. We don't believe in that. So I think it's like very interesting. Like, look at the Deathbusters and Mistress 9 and Pharaoh 90. Their planet was dying and they were looking for a new home. It's, like, they weren't invading just for the sake of invading. They were looking for a way to survive. I think it's just all a matter of perspective.
That's so true.
I mean, I wouldn't do what they did. Like, I'm like, y'all could have just, moved in.
Right. You could have asked.
That's that. You ain't got to take over human bodies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little extreme.
Yeah. Yeah, like, we could have been neighbors. So with all that said, we the Sailor Moon Super Live experience has wrapped up here in America, and last episode I talked about my experience, and I'm not even sure how we ended up talking about it, Victoria, but how did we end up connecting and talking about this and getting you on this show?
I don't remember, but I'm happy it happened. I don't remember at all. I'm like, can I look at my Instagram real quick and see? I don't know.
Right. I know that when I was on Twitter, I was following you and we were mutuals. Mm-hmm. And I assumed that I followed you on Instagram, and I didn't. And I think that we just reconnected that way, and we somehow ended up talking about Super Live. And then I was like, oh, you do a podcast too? And oh, I'd love to have you on and stuff like that. And you went to Sailor Moon Super Live in New York.
Yes.
So what was it like?
Oh, it was so good. So one, I actually got really lucky, and I was invited to come to the they had a preview for like media and like, I guess, content creators and other people the night before or the day before. So I was able to go to that, and like we got to see 3 songs. We were able to record. They opened up to the audience for questions, so I got to ask a question. and I asked them about like, I know Naoko Taguchi has like been coming to performances, so like, how do you feel? Does it make you nervous? And so they answered. So that was really cool. And then I saw the show the next day. This was actually my first Sailor Moon musical. Like, I've never seen any.
What? Sea of Serenity.net. Go and download the musicals.
It's been on my to-do list for forever. And I've just been like, I'll get to it. And then I just never do. But I need to do it because I love this so much. And I was so mad because I went to the last show. Like of the tour. This is in New York, and I was just like, I want to see it again, but there's, obviously, unless I fly to like Japan, which is not out of the possibilities.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just like, it was so good. I am obsessed, and I'm like, I need to see it again. I need more, so I'm definitely going to hop on and watch more musicals.
That's good.
That's so good.
I was telling Z, I wish they like released a soundtrack because the songs were so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was for like I was telling Z, for me, I wasn't expecting much from the Super Live. I literally thought it was going to be like a little song and dance show or whatever, and that was going to be it. So I wasn't expecting anything to the level of what that experience was like. And I think it's very interesting it's very cool that you got to see the preview, but also that it was your first exposure to the musical side of Sailor Moon.
Yeah, it was so good. Like, and I heard, because I missed it the first time around, because I think they came to New York. I think it was the same show, but like different, in 2014.
It was.
And I either wasn't in New York at the time when they came, or I was finishing up grad school and couldn't go. It was one or the other. I just remember being like, I can't go, or can't do it, or it's sold out. Like, it was just like a lot of things at the same time. But a lot of people said this one was better, so that made me happy. I'm like, okay, at least I saw like a better version of the show. And it's just, it was phenomenal.
Right. They did the cast from the More Eternal came out to do an appearance at a con. I think it was in Texas, right, Z?
Yes, it was. Anime Matsuri, I believe, back in.
Yeah.
And they,
exactly. So I was a little bit. So that's also kind of like what informed my expectations for Sailor Moon and Super Live, that it was going to be kind of like a watered down version of a musical, because when they came out, it was really just like the main cast and some dancers, and they did like some numbers from the musical. So I was like, I don't, so I was kind of like, zero expectations, zero disappointment. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go in with very low expectations, because it's, it's not like Broadway. It's like, it's a musical cast coming from Japan. So I was like, I know that travel is not cheap, and it's not going to be nearly the same level of production that goes into a Miyu in Japan. So I was like, okay, I don't know what's going to be like, especially if they're doing a tour. It's going to be Sarah Miyu light. So you tell us this was the first Miyu that you ever watched, and this is also your first live Sailor Moon show.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like I said, I thought it was just going to be like a little song and dance show, especially based off of the clips that were circulating on social media, where they were showing the encore performances of Sailor Moon the Super Live. So what was it like experiencing the story and the show all as a whole?
It was so good. Like, first, I loved just the the little part in the beginning dedicated to Sailor V. I thought that was just a cool way to start it off, to give kind of homage to Sailor V kind of kicking things off.
I agree.
And I just thought, I was just like, I could watch this for an hour. Like, just this, like, give me a whole Sailor V show. Like, I would be here for it.
Yes.
Because I was just like, ooh, it's like Secret Spy. And like, it was like very Carmen Sandiego. And I was like, and yeah, just like the story. I think we'll get into later, but Queen Barra was phenomenal.
She is.
She stole the show for me, and like, like I mentioned before, like she is one of my favorite villains, but she's not my favorite villain. Like I think I like Nehelania and Galaxia more, but in this I was like, oh my, this might be my favorite rendition, like portrayal of Beryl. And then of course the music was so good. I think they did a lot with like set design with like limited resources, like with the light sticks and the staging. Like it was just great. Like I really couldn't ask for more, except like I want to see it again.
I agree 100%. Like Queen Beryl stole the show, and I was telling Z, like she's definitely in my top iterations of Beryl. So I definitely encourage you to watch the musicals.
Yes,
because you'll get to see different iterations. I was telling Z that the Nelke revival, which is like the most recent set of complete Sarah Miu series, the Le Reconquista is the first revival musical, and that Queen Beryl was very regal, operatic, definitely one of my favorites, along with Aya Sugimoto from PGSM. And Beryl from Super Live is like right there in that top 3 list with those actresses, because she just brought a whole, like, it was just like, she was funny. Like she definitely had some funny moments. She was, but it's like she also knew when to tap into that regalness and that haughty evilness in her, and just the way she sang her songs. Like I was saying, it wasn't like sad or operatic. It was kind of like jazzy and upbeat. Like it was very like a very different take on her, but it fit her so well.
Yeah, she's a boss baddie. Like she just right up the dance floor was my favorite song from the thing. And I was so happy that Playbill recorded the whole what's it called, the preview thing that I went to, because they performed that, and so I'm like, okay, now I can go back and listen to this song, because it was stuck in my head for like weeks after that show.
Yeah, and that definitely answers the next question of what's your favorite Super Live song.
Really right up the dance floor by far. Like the jazziness, like you mentioned, it's just swing music. Like it fit her so well, and like her just like having Prince Endymion, and like also Prince Endymion. Oh my
Rihanna.
God!
We love Rihanna.
I was like, I am discovering things about myself, and so yeah,
as you should,
right?
As you should.
Oh my God!
Rihanna plays a big part in the Nelke revival from the second. What was the second musical? Petit Étranger.
Yes.
She appeared from that point forward, so she's in the Black Moon Clan. She's in. She wasn't in Un Nouveau Voyage, but she was in Amor Eternal as Hawkeye and Le Mauvais Final as Star Maker.
Yes.
So Rihanna is an amazing actress and dancer. She also appeared in the musical version of Utena as Jury, one of my favorite characters as well.
Oh my God, I need to watch everything she's in, because
she's been in a lot of musicals too. I love her. She's great.
That you tell me that she played Star Maker, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to. She's
an amazing Star Maker.
I could see that 1,000%.
For the Super Live, my favorite song is definitely the Sailor Guardian song. I love those cool like intro and attack things. It's been like one of my favorite musical moments since the Transylvania Miu, where they sing an intro song that introduces all the characters, and they do like their like little attacks and stuff like that. So I was really, and I tell Z this all the time, where I'm a completionist. So when the Nelke revival of Sailor Moon musicals came out, I loved the 5 Women of the White Moon, which is like a musical number that they do, and all the Sailor Senshi sing, like the 5 Inner Guardians sing that song, and I never get to hear the complete song. Because in the first musical, Sailor Mercury is missing, and in the second musical, they all sing, but it's kind of like a remix version of it, so it wasn't like the traditional version of the song. And then by the time the song came back around in Amor Eternal, Sailor Venus didn't get to sing the song. So I'm like, oh my gosh, just give me a complete song so I can have it because they don't sell the soundtracks for these musicals. So I'm just like, oh, goodness gracious. And so I was very excited about the Sailor Guardian song in Sailor Moon the Super Live because this cast, we talked about this in the last episode, where this cast for the Sailor Moon Super Live is the same cast from the last Nelke musical for, they did the Kaguya Hime story. And it was a completely new cast. So this cast is from that last musical, that standalone musical. And they did a Sailor Guardian song in that as well, but they didn't do any text.
Boo.
So I was telling Zia, like, what's going on?
And I think I saw that cast at the Japan parade in New York a few years ago. If that's correct. It might be correct. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
It was 2018. 2018.
And that was a Super Live cast from Japan.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that was cute. So they did do some songs then, and I love the choreography too. Like, it's so cute. That little, like, I don't know how to describe it, but like it's like they turn their body and then their head maybe, or their head versus their body, and like it's just so cute. Like they're so in sync, and I'm like, it's so like dainty. I don't know.
Yeah. So You're My Universe and Starry Heavens are from the Kaguya Hime musical. So I was really excited to hear them sing those songs because You're My Universe is one of my favorite Miyu songs from Kaguya. So it was really cool to see them perform that. It was very hard not to get emotional during this show because it was just like the first time to experience it live and in person. Like I also in Z, you couldn't have told 14-year-old me that this was going to happen. I'm aging myself, 16 years later. 16 or so some odd years later, that you're going to see a live action Sailor Moon stage show as an adult. Like I would have never crossed my mind. And the same thing goes for Sailor Moon Crystal. And like over 16, 20 years of living, like from being a teenager, you could have never told me there was going to be an anime revival of Sailor Moon.
Yeah, same. I never that would happen.
So what was your favorite moment in Sailor Moon the Super Live? Like, was there a moment that stood out to you that this was just like, oh my gosh, like, this is just stuck with you the entire time?
Definitely the Sailor V opening. Anytime Prince Endymion and Queen Beryl were on stage, like them interacting together and like dancing, which is so good. And then I love the part with the light sticks where like the Senki symbols appear. I think that was just so fun. And so I really enjoyed that. Like it was just like a small detail that added so much. And so I think those are the top three. I don't know, I loved it all. Like I love when all the Senshi get introduced.
Yes.
They're like intelligence, and I'm like,
yes. Yes, I loved it. I was telling Z that, I was a little bit concerned because it was like, oh, I know they're going to be singing and talking in Japanese. Am I going to be so focused on trying to read the subtitles that I'm not going to get a chance to watch the show? And that was not my experience at all. The subtitles were appearing on the screen. They weren't like jarring or out of place. Like it definitely flowed with the show very well. I was able to keep up with everything that was going on the stage. I think my favorite moment, I think it was just like a connection of moments, is when Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, or Usagi and Mamoru, were having those intimate moments of connection where they were just like starting to realize that there was something between the two of them. I think that was well played between the two characters, the two actors as well. Like it was very cool. It was very cool to see Sailor Venus in her element as a leader. I was telling Z that in the Kaguya, I was very, very concerned about the actress that played Sailor Venus, because in the Kaguya Hime musical, she's very like upbeat and kind of ditzy, almost like very much like Sailor Moon herself. So it didn't seem like she was too much of a leader in the Kaguya Hime musical. But she definitely switched it up for the Super Live. So she was very like, you know, she definitely shined as Sailor V, you know, and as a leader of the Sailor Senshi, and being the one to take down Queen Beryl was a very powerful moment for her as a character. So it's just like very cool to see Sailor Venus in her element. I could not take my eyes off of Mercury. I think she was like my favorite to watch. It was just, I think, and just overall, like it was just really cool seeing this cast in person, like on a stage. It's so different watching it on my computer or on my TV. So it's just like, I think that was kind of like that moment of surreality, like kicking in, where it's like, oh my gosh, you're real people and you're here and you're doing this show and you're doing amazing. Like I think that was like what made it so emotional. It's just like, and I think it's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this series as well. It's a shared first-time experience for a lot of American fans, and I think it's a great way for us to connect. We didn't all experience it at the same time, but collectively, it's a shared experience that for me, like being a Sailor Moon fan, speaks volumes, because a lot of my Sailor Moon experience initially growing up was solitary. I didn't really have a lot of friends or a community to really connect with. It was like me and one other person that liked it. For me, it makes me emotional now, like knowing like, oh my gosh, we get to share this with each other.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. The other thing too that when I went that I loved seeing was there were some kids in the audience, and that made me happy, because I'm like, I want the fandom to continue and, you know, to grow, and, you know, people to pass it down to their kids or nieces and nephews. And so I was really happy to see that, because I was like, oh, like you said, like this may be their first introduction to Sailor Moon.
Right.
And they'll, you know, hopefully become lifelong fans too. So that makes me happy.
Right. One question I'm going to add in is, one thing I told Z, the one thing that kind of like stuck me the wrong way, and I'm not 100% sure why, but a lot of people were laughing during the romantic scenes and when I was in Chicago. Did that happen in New York for you?
I'm trying to remember. I feel like there were some times when people laughed and I was like, wait, why are you laughing here? I want to say yes, because I feel like I remember having that feeling. And I think some people are just uncomfortable with like romance intimacy. Sometimes. Yeah, intimacy. Yeah. And there's just like laughter is kind of like a nervous reaction. That's what it felt like.
That's what it felt like for me too. It was just like, I don't think it was because they thought it was cringy or funny, but I think it was just like, I don't know how to react in this moment.
Right. And then someone, when I went to the preview, they mentioned, someone asked them what's the difference between like American audiences and Japanese audiences. And they said that Americans are louder and that we react to everything. And so I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, it was so true. But
and that's one thing I was telling Z too, that I think that's kind of like what threw me off when I was at the show, because I'm so used to watching the musicals on a screen or on my TV, and these shows mainly take place in Japan, so they're not loud, they're not, you know, disruptive. Very like respectful. They you know, when a big number happens or it's the end of an act, they'll clap and applaud and stuff like that, and they don't really get to hooting and hollering until the encore, according to Z, because I don't watch that.
Yeah, that's when they get a little more excited.
Yeah. So I love talking about these various elements of the Super Live. Was there a favorite element of the show overall that you liked? Was it like the sound or the stage design, costuming? I know that you mentioned like the glow sticks, and I know the ribbons were also a part of the show. Was there anything else that you liked in particular that just stood out to you?
I love the background graphics. Like, I thought those were so good, and they really like brought together like the manga feel. Yes. But also like just like really colorful and like zany quirkiness.
Yes.
And I think that just like I was like, man, I want like high res versions of that, like somewhere, like so I can download it or like find the graphic designer, because I'm like, they were just so cute, and I loved, like, it added such a comedic element to the show that I always say, I'm like, I feel like so many people who are, you know, not Sailor Moon fans, but like other people, like, don't realize how funny Sailor Moon is.
Yes.
And where it's like, it's low-key a comedy. Like, there's other stuff too, like obviously it's romance and you know, it's adventure and action, but I'm like, it's so funny. And
Yeah.
I love that they brought that to the show, and I feel like some of those background graphics kind of helped with that.
Yes, I definitely love the intro to the musical where they showed the various manga panels. I thought that was a very interesting take to see. So it kind of like, you know, like a full circle moment where it's like we've come so far between anime and the manga to these stage shows. I thought that was really cool. I like, you know, like for as simple as a set as it was literally like a screen, 2 stages and stairs. Like they really maximize the utilization of the space that they were given. I think that it was very interesting for me, and I think I was telling Z, I was paying particular attention to where they were standing on stage and stuff like that, because I was on the balcony, so I could see down. So it's like almost like center stage from the balcony, so I could see like the tapes and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, that's how they know where to stand. And it's like how, you know, and I was saying I was a little bit worried because the second stage had that middle staircase, and I was like, if it was me, I'd be singing and dancing and moving, and I'd fall right down those steps. I'm like, whoop!
Yep, I kept thinking that too. Every time like Prince and Demian came up and down the stairs, I was like, don't fall.
So yeah, I was telling Z that the stage for the Super Live very much gave me the same vibe as the first Nelke revival, Le Reconquista. So it was very cool to see that setup. I love the costumes. The costumes are very similar to what we see in the Kaguya Hime musical, and I was telling Z that it made a lot more sense because when they said the Super Live was coming to America, I was assuming it was going to be the original cast that came here before when they were in New York for the parade. So I was like, again, thinking, oh, it's just going to be like the Super Live in Japan, where it's kind of like this watered down version of the stories. You know, some iconic songs like Moonlight Densetsu are going to be sung, but it's not going to be anything comprehensive. So when we found out, when they announced the cast for the American tour, I was like, me and Z are looking at each other like,
Yep.
Isn't this the same cast from the Kaguya Hime musical? Like,
I mean, this is all the way down the line.
right. And so I was like, oh, like, and then when I saw it, I was like, oh, now I see why they put this cast in, because it's an actual stage show with, you know, action and dialogue and stuff like that and acting. So it's just like, it's very cool to see that. And I think Mars from the London show is from a musical as well, isn't she, Z?
I think she is.
I think she was. I think she was Virui from Un Nouveau Voyage. I think that's who it was.
Yeah.
I have to double check and see. But yeah, so Victoria, I know that you said that, you know, you would love to see the Super Live again. So if you wanted to, if Sarah Miyu, which is the Sailor Moon musical, returns to the States, would you like to see the Super Live again, or would you like to see something a little more comprehensive, maybe a specific storyline?
Ooh, don't make me choose. I would love to see Super Live again. I would also, like I said, I'd love to see a standalone Sailor V musical, just like from that beginning. I thought that was super cool. It'd be cool to see like her story play out. I'd love to see like a continuation of the series in musical form.
Yes.
And also, like, I think my top thing though would be the Sailor Moon S movie. Because seeing like Luna's love story, like a little thing play out in musical form, I think would be gorgeous. Like I could see, like I feel like that would translate so well to a musical.
Yes. Well, you're in luck. cfserenity.net. Go download the Kaguya Hime musical.
I was thinking, I was like, it probably exists, and I need to go just Do it.
It does.
It does. It does. It was the last of the Nelke revival musicals to come out before Chronicle, which is kind of like a Sailor Moon musical festival where they do like its own contained story and a number of songs. We'll get you the link so you can watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good. Definitely have to get you back on to talk about your Sailor Moon musical journey.
Yes, I'm about to start. Like so heavy, like it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. So it's funny. Talking about this last talking point about what I would like to see if Sarah Mew returns to stage. Me and Z talked about this in one of our episodes. We kind of did a deep dive into Sarah Mew, like an initial deep dive. There's so much content to cover for Sailor Moon musicals, and we were talking about like what would we like to see, from a Sailor Moon musical, and Z brought up a very good idea about it being kind of like, in the past Silver Millennium type style musical, and when the musical ends, it's basically the beginning of the Dark Kingdom arc where you see Usagi and she introduced herself as like a silhouette, and she's like, hi, my name is Usagi, and I'm 14 years old, and sometimes I'm a crybaby, but secretly I'm Sailor Moon, and it's just like that's the end of the musical.
I love that so much because I agree. The Moon Kingdom would be a great musical backdrop, and also just gorgeous, and I want more of Moon Kingdom and Crystotopia in general.
I agree. My friend Brent messaged me, and I shared this with Z. He was saying he would like to see a musical in like similar to Wicked in a sense, where it kind of like follows this dynamic between Queen Serenity and Queen Beryl, and basically how they come together to try to kind of like come to one accord when it comes to the peace between the earth and the moon, and ultimately they are at odds with each other, and the musical ends with basically them going to war.
I like that. Ooh, that's a lot here. That's so much. Oh my gosh, now you got my gears turning. I'm like, what?
I know, right? We love having these conversations and talking about stuff like that. So I'm going to ask one more question, and if you have any questions for us, please let us know. But I wanted to ask you guys this question, and I think it's very relevant. But what is it like being a person of color and being into Sailor Moon?
Ooh, I think it's a really special experience because I think it's one thing, to have something in common with somebody where you're like, okay, we're both Black, we both have we're part of Black culture, and we can laugh about certain things and say certain things. But I think to go even deeper in that, where it's like, oh man, we're both like people of color, and like we love Sailor Moon, and that I feel like can be such a special thing. I thankfully haven't experienced too much racism, but at least not as a Sailor Moon fan. I know it exists, and unfortunately, but I'm just thankful that I'm on the right side of Twitter half the time. I just always am baffled. And I was looking back, that's actually how our conversation started, Grayson. It was like, because I forgot somebody said something ridiculous, and I was just like, "You're so loud and wrong." Because I'm like,
"Oh my gosh, that's right."
Homophobic or transphobic or racist. Like, did you watch the show or not?
Right.
What happened there?
Right. So to give a little context, there has been concern about immigration and the ICE raids here in the States, and for me, I do have a personal stake. One of my dearest friends is a Mexican American. I, have known her for over 10 years. She's like a second mom to me. I helped her with her citizenship. So she's a legal citizen. I helped, she, and everything like that. Like, it was just, and to see, and I also have coworkers that are near and dear to my heart that are Mexican Americans, and for them to be legal, to be of legal status and citizens of America, and to see the fear in their eyes when they talk about this, it just struck a chord in me. And I took it upon myself to, like this isn't about politics. This is, and granted, everything is political, but it was like, for me, it's like, this is not about politics. It's about the human side of what is going on. There are people that are, people that are legitimately scared of what is happening, because because you can't look at someone and tell if they're a citizen or not. You are making an assumption based on how they look and how they sound, and detaining them, and you're scaring children, and you're tearing apart families and stuff like that. That is a big thing, and the fear of that is just as scary. Where it's just like, someone could take my babies away from me, or someone could take my mom away from me. That's a big thing. So for me, I made a point to say that because we talked about this earlier. What's going on in the world is affecting us in one way or another. So for me, it was like, I had been very quiet. I hadn't been posting as much or anything like that. So for me, it was like, let me tell my audience as to why I am not as active as I was. And I was like, these are my concerns. You don't have to agree. I'm not trying to argue with you about it. How you feel about it is how you feel about it. But this is the reason why I am not as active, because it's hard for me to find the joy in things when I know these things are happening and people are scared, and there's nothing I can do about it. So with all that said, I got some very adverse reactions from a few Sailor Moon fans, and they tried to use Sailor Moon as a reason to justify why this was happening.
Why? And
it just blew my mind, because it was just like, Sailor Moon was kicking invaders of the planet. She wasn't invited them to stay. And it's like, and to Sailor Victoria's point, did you watch the show? Tell me you didn't watch Sailor Moon without telling me you didn't watch Sailor Moon, because it's just like, how many times has she saved and redeemed characters in the show and allowed them to stay and stuff like that? And it was just like, and I guess for me, it was like the audacity.
Yes.
to be so bold and brazen with that. And it was like, and I did not say people that feel differently are wrong, or you have a right to your own opinion about things, whatever. As I stated in my message, I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just explaining to you why I'm not active, why I'm not okay with it. You feel how you feel. If you have an issue with me feeling this way, by all means, you don't have to follow me. You don't have to engage with my content. You are more than welcome to block me. It's not like, and I guess for me, it was just like, it was a 24-hour story. You mean tell me you couldn't wait 24 hours to wait for this to expire? You had to say something. So it was wild. It was just wild, the response that I got. And so another person, reached out to me, and they told me that what I need to do is just stick to Sailor Moon content and not talk about politics. And I was like, I was like, if you read my message, you would say, I was like, I'm not here to argue about politics. I'm just saying how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, were you okay with Obama deporting people? And if you're okay with that, then you're a hypocrite, because if you're not okay with Trump doing it. And I was like, let me be 100% clear. I'm not okay with anyone doing it.
Exactly.
Like, let's be 100% real. And I think that's probably like the closest I've ever come to any type of backlash on the internet. And granted, it was only 3 people. And out of those 3 people that have either unfollowed me, blocked me, or I unfollowed or removed their follow or blocked them, 10 to 20 times the followers have come back. So it's like, for me, it's like, you did all that for what? It's very interesting. And I guess for me, it's like, to kind of like bring it back to what we were talking about as a person of color in Sailor Moon. I think there's a misconception about Sailor Moon in general, where people, and admittedly so, think Sailor Moon is white, and she's not.
Oh no! Oh my gosh! Yes. So many people think that.
And for me, it's just like, and to Sailor Victoria's point, I have not experienced any racism on my side. Like, I'm on the right side of things where I have not experienced anything personally on my end as being a person of color in the Sailor Moon space. But I have seen some people make some very ignorant comments about Sailor Moon, especially when it comes to PGSM.
Yes.
So when I was posting PGSM clips on TikTok, people were calling it the Wish version of Sailor Moon, and that why is a Chinese person playing Sailor Moon? She's white with blonde hair and blue eyes. I'm like, she is Japanese, just like Sailor Moon is Japanese.
That's insane. Like, how many ways can you be offensive in one sentence?
Right.
Oh my God.
And it's funny because it's like, it's not even like white people that are saying this. They're Latinos.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of, self-hate in the Latino community.
It's just so wild to me. And I just wanted to ask, because it's like, for me, it's like I said, I haven't experienced anything personally. I have seen people make like ignorant comments, stuff like that, and I just don't engage with it. I usually just remove it or whatever, because like I said, people think Sailor Moon is white, and to be fair, a lot of black people say Sailor Pluto is black, and that's not accurate either. So it's just funny, because it's just like we come in different shades and sizes and colors, so do Asian people. Like, they're not all strictly fair skinned.
Right, yeah. I feel like black people, we just try to grasp at any characters we can at some point.
I know, and it's just like, I think it's just like, we definitely want to be included in the anime space, and it's just like, I think it's I think it's one of the reasons why I wanted to ask, because it was like, do we want people to include us, or do we want people to be inclusive of us? And I think that there's a difference between like being included and just coloring a character black and calling them black, or actually being inclusive to give this person black roots and stuff like that. Like, I think it's just like, and I know we're getting kind of like into the weeds here, but for me, it's like, I would much rather you create a character rooted in blackness than you taking a white character and coloring them black and saying you did your job.
Yeah, you definitely can't just do that. I think you definitely have to be a little more thoughtful.
Because we see that happen a lot now. And I don't know if, like, Z, I know you haven't had a chance to answer, but being a, person of color that does cosplay, and I know, like, do you get some backlash with some of your cosplays?
Oh, I do. All the time, actually. I get good things, but I do also get bad things. Like, I've been called the inbred version of Sailor Senshi characters, and I'm told that I'm too dark to cosplay this particular character. I mean, I get everything up and down, left and right. And this is something that happens. It's something that shouldn't happen, but it's something that happens. But it's through being within POC spaces that I find comfort, and I find other people that do the same things that I do, and even put like their own unique twists on it. So like, for example, there's a lot of people that cosplay Sailor Moon, but they cosplay her with braids. It's just the little things like that that make it a little more inclusive, make it a little more us, in a sense, to put it simply.
Right.
And it kind of drowns out a lot of negativity, because it's a few compared to the masses, right? Like, there's always going to be a few little people that want to say this and that, but it doesn't compare to the support in the community that you have.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for like the fan art or artists who created fan art.
Right.
It's
so nice.
As black characters. It really just helped me feel seen in the space, and so that just makes me so happy. So I'm with you 100%. And again, I'm like, are these people watching the show? Because I'm like, how can they be hateful? And a Sailor Moon fan, like, that doesn't make sense.
It's literally friendship, magic, and fun. And you're exhibiting none of those qualities.
Right.
Accepting everyone, like, literally, that's the whole thing. Like, Usagi, like, being there for Ami and being there for Makoto, where, you know, they feel like outsiders and she welcomes them in. And I'm like, you're doing the opposite of that. But it's
Right.
nothing.
Right. And I think that ultimately it's like, you know, as podcasters, I think that we're going to be entering, like, I know that for a fact that Z and I are going to be entering a space where, you know, as topical as we have been for the last, you know, couple of seasons, I know that I feel like our third season is going to be very much similar to Infinity and S, where it's like we're going to take a deeper turn when it comes to some of the things we're talking about when it comes to Sailor Moon, like being people of color, in the Sailor Moon space, what that's like, you know, like even gender. Like I know for me, it's like people are very surprised that I'm a man who likes Sailor Moon. Like many people have been like surprised that I'm not a girl and that I'm a person of color. Like that initially happened when I first started on TikTok, where they're like, "Oh, you're a guy?" I'm like, "Well, what do you think the Sailor Moon guy means?" You know, and they're like, and you know, it's like, and like, "Oh, you're black," and I'm like, "Yeah, look at my icon. It's a character of color." Like I'm not just out here, you know, pretending to be something that I'm not. But it's just like, and it's just so funny, like just getting, you know, like just interacting with the spectrum of diversity that is within the Sailor Moon community. And there was an instance where, and Z, you might remember this, where I posted a clip of Sailor Mercury transforming from PGSM.
Yep.
And people so it's very interesting to see people see PGSM on TikTok, because they were like, "What is this? And why is this happening?" And I had no idea this existed and stuff like that. So it's very cool to see like people get exposed to it for the first time. And a lot of people were kind of like being nitpicky about it. They're like, "Why doesn't she just have like blue hair like the anime or whatever?" And I was like, well, the reason why, you know, anime characters look different than they do in Japanese culture is because they're trying to make them stand out from everybody else. Like that was the main point of them doing the different character designs and stuff like that. And I was like, and I'm pretty sure like production wise, it just made more sense for them to look like your average Japanese citizen in the show, and then have them transform into their anime counterpart, similar to Power Rangers or whatever. Mm-hmm. And of course, a lot of people are like, "Well, she could have just dyed her hair like blue or whatever. Like that's plausible." And so I was like, well, you know, Japanese culture, you know, is very much, you know, very organized, and you can't just arbitrarily do things like that. You know, like especially if you're in school. And this person, this black woman got in the comments and she was like, counterculture exists and people were dyeing their hair and wearing whatever they wanted to. And I was like, I am not denying that at all, because you are 100% absolutely correct. But for the most part, there were rules and regulations in place that kept people from doing those things in the workplace and in school. And I said, I just think it's very interesting, and I think this is very common, where Americans tend to put American ideals or expectations on other countries. And you can't do that.
Yeah, there's definitely a main character syndrome in America. So.
Right. Like wrong or right. I'm not saying that the other countries are right in what they did, but I'm just saying that they go by a whole another set of rules and regulations that aren't in comparison to what we do. That's why a lot of people are coming to America. It's for that freedom of choice.
Yeah, and also she could have had other gigs. Like maybe she can't have new hair on the other show she's on.
Right. And so for me, she was very rude. And I found out that this person was very like just going around social media attacking a whole bunch of other people for no apparent reason. So it wasn't just me she had an issue with, but it's like whenever I tend to bump heads with someone, it's like, so when I say like, yeah, we need to be very careful about, you know, putting American ideals in other countries because it's not America, it's Japan, like, ha ha ha. And that, I guess that was a little bit too real for her because she decided to come for me. And so it was like, first it was, you know, like, oh, you're a self-hating American, to and you're gay, so that means you're a pedophile too. So it's just like, oh, okay, now you're taking low blows at me because I didn't agree with what you were saying, even though I said you were technically right that there is counterculture. I wasn't disagreeing with anything that you're saying. But I think it was like my first exposure to just like internet interaction with other people, and you know, people that tend to like, you know, fight their battles in comments. And I think it's very easy to get lost in that and to get hurt by it too. So it's just like, I'm, you know, like Aziz like said it very well, where it's just like trying to keep at the forefront, where it's like, where there are those few that cause dissension, there are the many that support and uplift you. And it's easy to get lost in those few and lose sight of the many. And I know that for me, that was a very like weird period for me, because I got into a point to where I was commenting like in response to, and like it was like people like Zeta are like, maybe you should not focus on that. Like, don't be that person that responding to every negative comment and getting away from the core message of what Sailor Moon is about and what you're doing your content for. You're doing your content for all of us as a community, not for the few people that don't know what Sailor Moon is about and are using it as a reason to be divisive or to cause dissension among the community. So it's like, for me, it was like, okay, you're right. I don't need to get caught up in this mess. So it's just like, how do you two navigate that space, like, you know, like when you encounter it?
Yeah, for me, I think it is hard. I think one of the things I always think back to a lot, there's a Toni Morrison quote that I'm going to butcher, but essentially it's like racism is a distraction. And I think of a lot of those things as distraction, where it's like, you know, they tell you don't have your own culture or language, so you spend like years proving that you do, and then you don't actually focus on, like, you know, self-care or, you know, living your life or progressing in your own life, because you're so like going back and forth with this person trying to like prove this thing when they really don't even care. Like, they don't care if you actually come with a good point or a counterpoint. They don't really want to engage in a meaningful conversation. So I always try to remember that, because I'm like, really, most of the time it's a waste of time. And
right.
I think somebody, I don't know where I saw this, but it's like, before you start with a troll or like someone online, just think to yourself, do I really want to spend the next hour going back and forth with this person? And that's so much, because I'm like, actually, I don't want to spend the next hour of my life in that way. I really don't. And I think that just like that recent experience with the ice raids and stuff like that was a very like, because like for me, it was like the energy and mental space that I had to be in to respond. And it was like, to not respond negatively took a lot out of me, because it was like, oh, you ready to go? Let's go. Like, it was like, okay, let's not respond in kind. Let's take like, what would Sailor Moon do? So it's like, for me, it was like, this one girl was saying, she's like, yeah, that's why I don't really talk about politics. You know, I just tend to stick to Sailor Moon, like trying to hint to me, like, maybe this is what you should do too. And so to her, I was like, it was very kind of like almost like a backhanded comment to me. So I was just like, so I told her, I said, because I have like close to 16,000 followers. It's not a lot, but that's still a lot of people. That is a lot.
And so for me, it was just like, so I told her, I said, if something was happening to you, your loved ones, your friends, wouldn't you want someone that has a large following to say something? If you're being treated wrongly, I said, I would not want anything to happen to you, your family, your loved ones. And I would like to think that any creator that you're following and that you support would in turn support you if you're going through something like that. it was a very Usagi response. Like, it was just like, I was like, I'm going to touch her heart with this. The silver crystal is going to heal her, and she's going to see the error of her ways. It's just going to be when the Black Moon Clan was revived. Yeah, no. She was like, well, it's not happening to me, so it doesn't matter. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well. And I was like, click, block. Like, yeah, we're not going to do that. It was just like, it was just, I feel like we all tend to go through that Sailor Moon moment where it's just like, it very much felt like that moment in Sailor Moon S when Mistress Nine was like pretending to be overtaken by Hotaru, and Sailor Uranus is like, now's your chance, kill her because she's gonna kill you. And she's like, no, Hotaru's still in there, I believe in her. And she's like, God damn it, Usagi.
Yeah.
It very much felt like that moment where it's just like, and some people that were supporting me there, I was literally like telling, they're like, yeah, it's the Usagi and us that want to like believe in the power of love and friendship, and know that if we just believe in them, they'll see the error of their ways and turn to the side of light. And it's just like, yeah, no, this is definitely not one of those moments.
Yeah, sometimes it just does not happen. It does not happen. But I get that though, because there are sometimes where there's something like so egregious, so I'm like, I need to respond to this. Like, no, there's no way. You clearly,
It was like, it's just a misunderstanding. Let me just explain it, and then they'll understand. They're like, no, I still don't understand. I was like, oh, okay, it's okay to disagree. Like I'm not, you're entitled to your opinion. You can disagree. We just don't align in that way, and that's fine. And we don't need to be in the same space. And I'm going to have Z answer. We're going to go ahead and close this out. But Z, you're probably one of the most positive, nicest people that I know.
Aww.
So it really, like, sometimes it breaks my heart to know that you experience this, because it's just like, as full of light and love that you are, it's just like, how do you navigate and deal with that when you're, like when it happens to you? Because it's just like, you're Z, like, who does that?
You'd be surprised. A lot of people do. But I lean back on people like you, friends and others that have gone through similar things. And I just lean on my community more than anything. Like, oh, this happened again, and then we'll talk about it. Like, I'll talk my feelings out if it made me feel a certain way. Sometimes I'll even log off. Like, I'll just get off my phone. I'll go take a walk about it, enjoy nature. And just know that doesn't define like who I am, what I am, because I know who I am, I know what I do, and I'm not going to let something derogatory define me in that way. So sometimes I gotta take a step back, or if I feel like it, it depends. But kind of what I do. It's more simple than it seems. So I might make it sound more simple, but it's been working for me, and it has been working for me for a while. Because initially, I get really caught up about it. I'd express my emotions, I'd be upset. It's like, I don't understand, I'm just trying to have fun and have a good time. And all these things are being said about me, but that doesn't define who I am, and it doesn't illustrate who I am as a person on the internet saying stuff.
Right.
Costumes. What more can I do? So.
Right. That makes sense. It's very well said, and it definitely resonates. It's just like, sometimes you have to respond, sometimes you just gotta leave it alone and go, just continue doing what you're doing, because it's like you're definitely touching more people by staying true and authentic to who you are than engaging with some of the retractors that are just hating for no reason. So with all that said, Victoria, did you have any questions for me or Z?
Yeah, on a funner note, so now that I'm starting my musical journey, which one do you think I should go first? Which should I watch first?
I'm gonna let Z answer that, because she's the musical queen.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Okay. So definitely staying within the Nelke revival arc, since the Super Live is the most recent thing you've seen. I would definitely recommend the Kaguya, like a offshoot one, in the sense of it doesn't connect to anything. And I think it tells Luna's love story very beautifully. You're very familiar with the cast already, since you've seen them within the Super Live. But then from there, I would go from La Reconquista, which is like the first within the initial new revival back in like 2013, 2014. And just watch all 5 of those musicals. And then when you watch all of those, we can touch on Bandai, but I think that's a good start. Bandai's a whole other thing.
Yeah, Bandai was running concurrently with the 90s anime, so there's a lot of them.
There's a lot.
Got it. You're like looking at the list and feeling overwhelmed. I think that's
yes, I know. I was like,
you know what? I'll just come back to this.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have Z reach out to you on Instagram and like give you like the list of the Nelke revivals to kind of get you started, because Bandai, it's like it starts off like the anime / manga, and then next thing you know, you're dealing with vampires and pirates and a whole bunch of stuff in the Bandai. So it's just like it's definitely an experience. It's definitely like one of those marathons, because I didn't watch the Bandai musicals until the pandemic. So it's definitely worth at least a once sit down, but it's just like definitely stick with Nelke for now.
Okay, I'll do that. I'm excited.
Yes. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Yes, it was. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we get to join you on the Moonies Club one day.
Yes, absolutely. I think since I watched like a couple musicals, I think you can come on and talk about it, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Sign us up.
Yay!
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
The computer just said, "Hey, shut down." What if we just did that?
It's so funny when we do podcasts and everybody kind of like gets nervous and tenses up, and they're like, "You want me to be on our podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "I'm not ready for my close up." And I'm like, "It's audio only. You don't have to worry. It's okay." Like, Moonlight Justice is a fan pass. A fan pass.
Fan pass.
I know, right? I don't even know what that is. Is it fans the pass, or is that what we are? Okay. We have some grace.
You're doing so good.
Was like, yeah, you're doing too well. There'll be a speed bump real quick.